Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Vice President, Products, Amar Hanspal.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Autodesk University. And welcome to our first ever product keynote. Now I know in the past we've showcased some of our products when Carl has spoken, when Jeff has spoken, but to my knowledge we've never ever put together a single session that covers everything about what's going on with our products. So over the next hour and a half, we're going to tell you how we're transforming our products so that you in turn can transform the way buildings and bridges are built, movies imagined, and products made. So we're going to tell you what's new with our current generation of products: Revit, Inventor, Civil 3D, AutoCAD, Maya, Max. And we're also going to talk to you about where we are taking our next generation products: Fusion, BIM 360, Shotgun. And you're not just going to hear from me, but you're going to hear from product leaders and from customers who are using these tools. We got a lot to cover, so let's get started. Now, you know there has never been a better time than right now to do what you do, because you're living in a time where the effects of connectivity, compute power, immersive experiences, digital production, software smarts, so many things are redefining the industries that you work in, and that creates opportunity for you all. This is what we mean by the future of making things. And it's already here. And we're busy trying to bring it to you through our products. Now, if you have been a customer of Revit, Inventor, Civil 3D, or AutoCAD, you may have noticed just how much better they got this year. Take Revit, for instance. The Revit team has increased scalability, performance, added faster model navigation for large, complex models. They added the Dynamo player that now puts the power of computational design in the hands of everyone. They added Scan to BIM, so you can now create and validate a model from a point cloud with automatic recognition and placement of design elements. And Revit moved fabrication right next to design. So today, whether you're modeling reinforced concrete, steel structures, or mechanical systems, Revit gives you that fabrication level of detail that you need to get your job done. Let's look at Inventor. Inventor has kept getting better every year. The team has delivered over 100 new enhancements just this year, ranging from sketching, part modeling, assembly modeling, CAD interoperability, automation, drawings, and much, much more. They even added a shape generator that helps you during conceptual design. If you've been in the world of infrastructure and you've taken a look at Civil 3D lately, it has gotten so much better. The team's added new ways to visualize roadway corridors. They've improved BIM interoperability. They've added more capability that can be leveraged right through the infrastructure design and engineering workflow. And let's not forget AutoCAD. The AutoCAD team added the ability to turn PDFs, yes, those old smelly digital documents, to turn them into editable drawings. And they made it super simple to share those designs and drawings with anyone, whether they're on a desktop or a mobile device. All of this happened just this year. But that's not all that we've been working on. I don't have time to cover all of the enhancements, but we've been working on InfraWorks, Navisworks, Vault, Max, Maya, Recap. In fact, every major product in our portfolio has seen a lot of enhancements this year. We've paid a lot of attention to making our products work better together so you can move from one part of your project, your workflow, to another. But we're not just connecting our products to each other, we're also connecting them to industry standard software and hardware. And that's why today, I'm pleased to share with you the news that we've partnered with Leica and built an exclusive connection between their really cool new piece of hardware, and I love the name, it's called BLK360. Think of it as the iPhone of laser scanning. We've partnered with them to connect it to Recap 360 on mobile devices. So now you can start scanning from a tablet, and because everything is connected to the cloud, that scan can be handed off to anyone, anywhere, at any time. Working with Leica, this has made scan to BIM ridiculously simple for anyone, anywhere, at any time. Another thing that I just wanted to share with you, another piece of news, some of you know that in July of this year, we introduced a product called Autodesk Live. The idea with Autodesk Live is to go from digital modeling environments like Revit into interactive experiences to enable you to step in to the digital world and experience, for example, what a building or an atrium might feel like well before it's built. We want to help you explore it or share it with your clients. Yesterday, you heard from Jeff about the promise of virtual reality. So I want to take this opportunity to remind you all that Autodesk Live, the latest release, now fully supports virtual reality experiences. You can go from Revit into an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive in 2 clicks. 1, to start the live experience, and 2, to select the device you want to have the virtual reality experience in. This is a big deal. Now, anyone who has tried to create content for virtual reality environments will tell you they've had to do a lot of data wrangling and scripting to get experiences like this. But Live is a system that does all this hard work for you on the cloud automatically. So you don't have to worry about being a data wrangler or a game engine developer or have to hire somebody to do that. You get a fast, clean, and simple way to go from Revit to virtual reality in 2 clicks. Really encourage you to check this out if you haven't already. So we're accelerating the rate at which we're delivering value to you. This is the inherent promise of a subscription relationship. You make a commitment to us, and in return, we make a commitment to you to maximize the value of your investment by constantly improving our products over that period of time. With subscription, we also give you access to cloud services that always improve. Cloud services like rendering that allow you to create realistic, amazing, high-resolution images and snapshots in seconds. Simulation services on the cloud that let you test your idea, let you validate your concepts, let you predict behavior and optimize designs, all by using the compute power of the cloud. We give you access through subscription to collaboration services, where you can share and manage your projects as a single team. Now I know for many of you, this is music to your ears. This is all this great stuff we're giving you. But to some of you, it's the equivalent of a wild screeching sound. Because let's face it, some of you don't want us to deliver updates this often, because it's a pain for you to have to deal with installation, deployment, user management. Let me tell you, we hear you. You should know that one of the things the team is working hard at is building an infrastructure and framework that delivers updates to you on the desktop as a service. We want to take on the challenge on your behalf of all of the hassle of installation, deployment, user management, and maintain your environments with minimal disruption. We want to make updating your desktop apps as seamless and as natural as updating your apps on a phone or a tablet is today. So let me just summarize what we're doing with our current generation of products. We are investing and continuing to improve them every day by listening to your needs. We're connecting them to the cloud, taking advantage of compute capabilities, and delivering collaboration experiences and improving installation and deployment. Our goal and our effort is to continue to evolve these offerings into a cohesive portfolio that is cloud connected and is available to you on demand. But the cloud lets us do much, much more than improve our core products. In fact, the next generation of our design and engineering applications doesn't just take advantage of the cloud or extend to the cloud. It is native to the cloud. And by being native to the cloud, we can fundamentally reimagine and redefine how products and buildings and infrastructure and entertainment is conceived, how it's designed, and ultimately how it's made and managed. You know, the cloud is a real game changer. It gives us the ability to solve some really big challenges on your behalf. Challenges such as connecting teams and data seamlessly. Challenges such as making processes easier to digitize across these teams. Challenges such as driving innovation, building flexibility and agility into the way you work every day. Because let's face it, what you do is hard. It takes a lot to get things done. You know, if you're in the world of product design, industrial designers and mechanical designers have to work together to figure out form and function. Electronics and software guys have to get together to put smarts in the product. Analysts have to do thermal dissipation, magnetic resonance, structural integrity. Manufacturing people have to figure out how to make all this nonsense and run a production process. And it goes on and on and on. Lots of things have to be figured out. And it's the same story in the world of AEC. You can repeat those cast of characters with general contractors, architects, engineers, project managers, owners, clients. Lots of people have to work together to realize these amazing ideas. Media and entertainment, movie magic doesn't happen just by itself. Studios, special effect teams, production assistants, live actors, all of them have to work together as one. But the challenge has been that everyone in this orchestra, if you will, has picked a different instrument, and they have used multiple specialized, unique digital tools to do their work. And as a result, though, data is now scattered. It's scattered across locations, scattered across networks, scattered across hard drives. Data is locked up, it's in proprietary file formats, databases, and yet everyone and everything must come together as one in order for the endeavor to succeed. So there has to be a better way to do what you all do. So imagine, if you will, a connected experience that puts your project, your building, your product, your movie in the center, and lets you move seamlessly from one context to another. The data auto-magically, yes, it's a real word, auto-magically reconfigures itself for the work you're about to do and the context you're switching to. There really isn't any interoperability that you need. It's a common data environment, which puts an end to having to move files, import files, export files, email files, open files, to crying, to late nights praying, hoping that all the changes are captured. A single common data environment. And you can work in the device of your choosing, on a desktop, on web, on mobile, with equal fluidity. So there isn't a single platform you're tied to. It's a single experience across platforms. And there is no such thing as like a hardware system requirements limit. It's the cloud that's available to you on demand. Compute power that you can bring economically to visualize, to simulate, to analyze, to do generative design, to do machine learning. Sounds good, doesn't it? So this is not some futuristic vision that we are going to make available to you at Autodesk University 2036. This is today. This is our next generation products. Connected, capable, on-demand applications spanning design, make, and use in the world of product design and manufacturing with Fusion 360, building design and construction with BIM 360, and the world of media and entertainment with Shotgun. So, at the risk of sounding repetitive, let me be really, really clear about Autodesk's future and where we are taking our products. We are moving to integrated platforms and experiences, one for each industry that span design, make, and use. And these will work together as well. These are connected, capable, on-demand experiences, no compromises, and they are the key to realizing the future of making things. You know, yesterday on this stage, 16-year-old Anna Nixon, wasn't she amazing, by the way? She gave Carl a challenge. She said, hey, build us products that are easy to use, but very capable, and that work the way our generation wants to work, in teams. And today, we're going to show you just how far we have come in meeting that challenge. Because once again, Autodesk is leveling the playing field. We're democratizing high-end capabilities like analysis, simulation, PLM, CAM, and making it available to companies of any size. And a great example of the result of doing this comes in the world of automotive design. You guys know, building a car company is hard work. It's really complex work. It takes a lot to build up all of the capabilities and have all of the digital infrastructure that you need in order to do world-class industrial design, mechanical design, electronic design, or do all the production, do all of the servicing necessary to be a world-class automotive company. No wonder companies employ hundreds of people, thousands of people. Well, that's about to change. That landscape is changing, and digital tools are a part of this change. BAC Mono, a company founded by two brothers, Ian and Neil Briggs, set out to design a new kind of supercar. Not with a team of thousands, or hundreds, or dozens, but with a team of exactly 12 people. And Fusion was part of what they did to create a car that's personalized for every driver, and it is simply gorgeous. Let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Director, Fusion Product Management, Stephen Hooper.
Good morning, everyone. Let me start by saying what a stunning combination of art and engineering the Mono is. It's industrial design at its absolute best. And it's clear that Ian and his team's passion lies in challenging convention, inspiring their customers, and above all, creativity. And if there's one thing all of us in this room have in common today, it's that passion for creativity. So what I'm going to share with you over the next 20 minutes is a platform for creative freedom that we call Fusion 360. Because whether you're building a $220,000 supercar or just dabbling in some furniture design at the weekends for a hobby, you need more than a CAD or a CAM tool. You need more than simulation or visualization. What your creativity demands is a complete solution that's capable of taking you from the very first conceptual sketch that you see on the screen behind me right the way through to the final combination of art and engineering that you see stood on this stage before me. So how can we all benefit from this? Well, let me start this session by explaining exactly what Fusion 360 is and what we set out to achieve as we built this next generation platform for product development. Our goal was to create something truly inspirational, a platform capable of capturing a complete product definition so close to physical reality, you might think you're looking at a photograph when you're actually looking at Fusion 360. Now, at the heart of that platform lies a connected experience that provides users access to the same source of data via the cloud. With this connected experience, anyone, anywhere can view, edit, and mark up data collaborating in real time. But Fusion's more than a data management system. It contains all of the tools and technology necessary to create compelling industrial designs with simple-to-use yet powerful T-splines technology. It's a 3D CAD application with freeform and 3D solid modeling tools seamlessly integrated so that you can maintain design intent without compromise. And you can communicate that design intent with easy-to-use, cloud-based drawing and documentation that instantly connects your fellow team members and your suppliers. On top of that, Fusion provides simulation capabilities that allow you to analyze, enhance, and optimize your parts as a part of the connected process. But perhaps most striking is the fact that unlike any other system, Fusion offers a complete innovation platform that allows you to physically produce your designs with integrated CAM capabilities so you can generate the G-code necessary to drive your machine tools and your 3D printers. And it does all of this on a Mac, on a mobile, and on a PC. So is Fusion 360 a CAD system or a CAM application? Is it a simulation tool or a data management package? Well, as you can see, the answer to all these questions is no. It's not one of these things, it's all these things. It's the next generation product innovation platform, and it's built to unlock creative freedom. But we're not done yet. The ultimate promise of Fusion has always been to fully unite the design and manufacturing process, providing a single, complete solution where previously designers and engineers have had to employ multiple products and technologies. Well, we're taking that promise of Fusion 360 to a whole new level. Today, I'm going to show you 5 new technologies we're excited to announce. And you can all experience these technologies for yourselves because Fusion is free to students, startups, and enthusiasts. So I'd encourage all of you to experiment as soon as you get home, or better still, while you're here at Autodesk University. So why are we doing this? We're doing it because the nature of products is changing. They're becoming smart and connected. Software is now a core component of product design because it allows you as the designer to embed deeper levels of intelligence and controls within your product so that you and your customers can connect with those products in ways never before possible, creating unprecedented levels of value. Take, for example, BAC and their ability to connect the driver to their telemetry so they can make more informed decisions about driving style and vehicle performance. But of course, a smart product requires integrated electronics and control systems. So that's why I'm pleased to announce today that Fusion 360 users will have access to integrated electronic design capabilities as part of their subscription entitlement. Let's take a look at what that means. Our integration allows a Fusion user to create the physical layout of a PCB board within the context of a mechanical design, specifying things like mounting points and the clearance required in the casing for the PCB. As you can see, the physical properties of the design can be used to lay out the board's componentry. within its space envelope, whilst maintaining all of the associated connections. The result is a PCB design that relates directly to its physical environment, and common data which can be associatively exported back to the mechanical workspace where it's embedded within the hardware design. If a clash is found, as in the case with this design, changes can be made to the board's layout geometry with familiar, easy-to-use techniques, and any amendments to the electronic design result in the automatic rerouting of all the affected connections, which are reflected back in the mechanical workspace associatively. This is the only cloud-based solution for integrated PCB design. But product development is as much about the physical manufacturing process as it is design. Fusion supports this because it understands the characteristics of the intended production process, so that you can make more informed decisions earlier in the process and maintain the integrity of the design right the way through to the manufactured product. Take, for example, sheet metal fabrication. So my second piece of big news today is the integration of sheet metal design and fabrication within Fusion. This technology enables a designer to specify the type of fabrication process that will be employed in manufacture. In this example that you can see on the screen behind me, we're designing the bracketry to hold the transmission ECU. Because Fusion understands the manufacturing process being employed, it's able to automatically apply setbacks and clearances to ensure the part can be physically produced. But more than that, Fusion can actually produce the manufacturing instructions themselves because it knows how to unfold the part and produce the G-code necessary to drive the laser cutter. And it's associative. So when we go back to the design and make a change to introduce 2 new flanges to that design, not only does Fusion understand how to automatically miter those flanges, but it's able to update the flat pattern and recompute the G-code to ensure that my manufacturing instructions stay consistent with the very latest version of my design. It can even help to nest the components so that I get better sheet utilization from my raw materials on the shop floor. Now, as we mentioned earlier, Fusion also integrates simulation capabilities so you can understand the mechanical behavior of your product design. But we're doing something radically different with Fusion. We're moving beyond validation and putting those tools where they belong, in the hands of the designer at the point of creation, so that we can optimize designs rather than just validating them. So how are we doing that? Well, it gives me great pleasure to announce another Fusion first. Unlike any other design tool, we begin today offering Fusion users access to advanced simulation capabilities with on-demand, pay-as-you-go cloud credits. As you can see behind me, we've introduced a range of advanced simulation capabilities that traditionally cost somewhere in the region of $20,000. Tools like event-based simulation that allow you to apply sequential loading conditions and calculate non-linear results, such as plastic deformation. These effects occur over a period of time, and they can have unforeseen consequences for the mechanical integrity of the design. Buckling solvers that allow us to look at sheet metal components, like the one that we just designed, and understand if they fail, how they'll fail, by evaluating the performance of the product beyond the point at which it becomes permanently deformed. And we're also offering on-demand access to advanced design techniques like shape optimization. In this example, we're reserving an area of the design that Fusion can't affect due to assembly requirements, but we're allowing it to modify geometry everywhere else so that it only applies material when necessary to support structural loading conditions. But we're doing this in a way that allows us to use the power of the cloud to perform those calculations so that we can offload that analysis from your local device and allow you to continue to work freely. The results that we obtain can be used to update the design definition in a way that allows us to continue to use traditional manufacturing techniques. Why do this? Well, BAC are trying to further increase the performance of their vehicle by stripping weight from the design. What this simple-to-use yet powerful technology allows them to do is to remove all the weight from the vehicle, right up to a predefined factor of safety. Simply put, it allows them to go fast safe. And for just 20 cloud credits, they can conduct this study that would have traditionally cost them somewhere around $20,000 worth of investment. Our aim is to level the playing field for all creative professionals. So what's next? Well, the example here up on the screen shows a great example. What we're aiming to achieve with Fusion is a complete disruption of the design and manufacturing process, which offers tremendous freedom for the way that we imagine and create products in the future. But we're not talking about some far-off research project here. I'm talking about real software that I'm going to show you today. But before we get to that, let's start by taking a look at how we're also going to help you manage that process of creativity more effectively. When most of us think about the product development process, we think of an idealized linear progression from ideation right the way through to finalized manufactured product. Of course, those of us intimately involved with product design know that this couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is that true design is a series of explorations that are often made in parallel to one another, and we're never quite sure which will be the dominant idea and which will yield the best results in the context of the overall design. But traditional design systems don't accommodate for this type of exploration, and yet it's precisely this type of agile, iterative approach to problem solving that yields the most creative and the most innovative results. So we as designers contrive convoluted workflows to manage this type of exploration, which all too often see our best ideas lost in the chaos. What I'm excited to share with you today is a combination of tools that embrace this type of design exploration. So let's take a look at how we can use branching and merging to compare the trade-offs between generative design and shape optimization, taking into account next-generation additive manufacturing techniques and simulation capabilities that allow BAC to continue to push the envelope of vehicle design. In this example, we're going to work on the wheel assembly. First, we're going to create a branch of the design that allows us to evaluate how much weight we can eliminate using the shape optimization technology that I showed you earlier. So we'll add loading conditions, and we'll allow the system to only apply material where necessary to support a predefined factor of safety. Next, we'll branch the design again, but this time we'll use a new form of mesh-based generative design to lattice the internal structure of the component. Due to that honeycomb structure, this version of the design provides better thermal cooling. So we'll opt for this concept. However, you can see it can't be manufactured using traditional machining techniques. We'll need to additively print the metal. So we'll employ our additive build solver to ensure that we're not introducing any shrinkage or warpage to the design as we sinter the metal. But there's no such thing as additive manufacture without subtractive finishing. And that's why I'm also pleased to announce today the inclusion of full, simultaneous, 5-axis machining within Fusion 360. Again, this is another technology that traditionally costs somewhere in the region of $10,000 to acquire. Again, we're committed to leveling the technology playing field for all creative professionals. This truly is the future of making things, but we're not stopping here. We're also going to give you the tools to visually simulate surface finish. What you're looking at isn't a photograph. It's a visual simulation of machined surface quality based on what the machining strategies we just produced were in the previous example. Because when your customer's paying $225,000 for a supercar, they expect you to have thoroughly thought through every conceivable aspect of product quality. So we're removing the limitations on creative freedom with a single, complete innovation platform. But our last piece of news today is that we're also removing the limitations on access. There are many new forms of interaction device available in the market today, from Microsoft's Surface Dial to Apple's Touch Bar and the emergence of new AR and VR technologies. The way that we all interact with software is changing. So why limit the form of access to a product development platform like Fusion 360? Well, we're not. Fusion already runs on a Mac, on a mobile, and on a PC. But today, we're excited to announce web access. From design to manufacture, access to data can be the difference between success and failure. The web access that you see makes it possible for you to connect to your data anytime, anywhere, and on any device. In this example, my colleague Bryce is accessing the design that we just created, but he's doing it down on the shop floor with an iPad Pro. And he has no need to download or install any software. Using Fusion in the browser, he can modify sketches, add new features, and update the 3D model, while all his associated data, including documentation, is automatically updated. Toolpaths are regenerated, simulations are recalculated, and the G-code necessary to drive his machine tool on the shop floor is updated seamlessly. What Fusion 360 provides is complete, flexible access. So as I leave you today, I hope you can see the incredible breadth of capability that Fusion offers, how BAC are able to disrupt their market with this unique approach, and the fact that our pace of product development is accelerating. We think the time for change in product development is now. And that's why we've built not a piece of the required solution, but a single, complete, agile product innovation platform, connected via the cloud, and as I've just shown you, can be turned on instantly. It's free to students, startups, and enthusiasts, and even when you go as far as building a supercar, a single subscription starts at just $25 a month. I've shown you a platform for creative freedom, one that enables anyone in this room to turn their ideas into physical reality. Today, we've covered some of the most exciting release announcements that we've ever made, from advanced cloud-based pay-as-you-go simulation, shape optimization, and 5-axis milling, through to electronic design, sheet metal fabrication, and integrated browser access. The future of making things really does begin now. I've taken you through the product development process in the world and design and manufacturing. But as I hand over to the next speaker this morning, I also want to acknowledge the fact that some of you in this room build experiences that never leave the screen on which they're created. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Autodesk Senior Director, Shotgun, Don Parker.
Man, that work is awesome, isn't it? I'm so inspired by the work that our clients do. We work every day for the storytellers, the artists and engineers who imagine design and create whole new worlds. These stories inspire us, they move us, they fill us with wonder. They teach us about each other and ourselves. And sometimes, these stories are so awesome, we can't stop watching. I don't know if you've been here or not, but I was pretty obsessed with Stranger Things last summer on Netflix. Been there? Anyone else? So maybe you've been here too. At our house, late at night, after watching way too many, one episode would end. I'm sitting next to my wife. It would get dark. There's a little tension in the room. And she'd say, bedtime. And I'd say, no, just one more story, please. Just like my kids begging me at their bedtime. Now, many times these stories have such an impact, they become part of our lives. My kids dress up as characters all the time that have captured their imagination. That ruthless-looking transformer up there is my son Milan. He's 10 now, and we have transformer costumes in my house in every size. Well, except my size. I prefer Batman. Not only because Batman wears all black, which I find to be very slimming, especially when up on a Jumbotron, but also because Batman makes cool stuff. That's his superpower. He's a tool builder, and we can relate. We make tools that connect teams together, to take ideas from sketches to living, breathing fire machines. But the path that teams take to get there has changed so much over the last couple decades. You guys remember Jurassic Park? 1993. Blew my mind. Those dinosaurs were sick. They were scary. They were the stars, really. They were stomping and chomping and chasing and breathing in every shot. And then a shot for us is a series of images between two cuts. Jurassic Park, the whole movie had a little bit over 1,000 shots in it, but only 63 visual effects shots. 63. That surprised me when I looked it up. A single episode of Game of Thrones has more than 200 visual effects shots. That's 3 times as many. And they did 10 episodes last season, 60 episodes total. That's crazy. How do they do that? Way more cash, way more time? Well, we know that's not true. One of our clients that works on Game of Thrones, it's called Pixamundo. How do they cope? They just work 24/7. Seriously, this is their marketing video. They have opened offices around the world. Their production day literally follows the sun. When one team finishes their day, they hand off to the next. The work never stops. That increase in capacity is awesome. You can see the results on screen. But when you spread teams out, those gaps can hurt. You need the right tools to bring your team back together. And that's where we come in. Shotgun is made of 3 major components: production management, artist app integrations, and review. I'm mostly going to focus on review today, but I'll quickly talk about the other 2 first. Production management is for the business side of the studio. They're getting organized, defining what you're building, how those things are related to each other, who's doing what, the schedule. And we're organizing the conversations the team is having along the way. All this information is always up to date, always in one spot, and available to anybody. Now, one thing we get from this information that's really cool is we understand which artists are working with each other at any given day, which will change from day to day. We can use this information to connect the artists together. Now, at first, we just asked the artists to use the manager tools because we were thinking all the information they need is in there. Seemed logical. How do you think that went over? 3 words. Oh, hell no. They revolted. They went rogue. Why? Because they signed on to the project to be creative. They want to spend all their time working in their creative applications. They don't want to have to switch contexts and go diving into another tool for the information they need. And they definitely don't want to look at anything that resembles a spreadsheet. That leads us to piece number 2, artist app integrations. We've integrated Shotgun directly into the tools artists use every day. Tools we make, like Maya and Max, and tools we don't, like Photoshop. Inside the creative application, the artists have access to the other artists they're working with and all the key information they need to do their jobs. Here we see 2 artists who are working together on the same shot at the same time, but in different applications, in different locations. We've also built a set of utilities that take non-creative tasks and collapse them in these simple tools that artists can get done in just a couple clicks. Maximize your artist's creative time. Now, for these artists to do their best work, they need support and guidance and love. Don't we all need that? And that leads us to our third piece, review. These artists have a boss, a creative director, a supervisor, a director. In this case, their boss is Monica, who happens to be my wife, so she's my boss too. Monica is a creative director, and her job is to support her team to do the best possible work with the time that they have. This is a very iterative process. The artists create work, and they send to her to view. She then views the work and gives them feedback on what to do next. They try to get this done as many times as they can in the time that they have. But any delays in this process can waste time the artist could have spent making their work better. Now, to do this well, Monica requires certain context when she's looking at the work. So she needs to look at the shot with previous versions of the shot so she can see what's changed. She needs to remember what she asked the artist to do last time. But importantly, she also needs to see the shots on either side. She needs to play the whole thing to understand how it's going to play on screen. Now, this context is set by the editor. But here's the rub. The editor is making changes at the same time. A shot that was here today is gone tomorrow, or twice as long, or cut in half. These changes have an impact on Monica and her team. Now, the first time I experienced this was 15 years ago in my first animated feature. And I was designing tools for the team, and I remember asking, this part seems crazy. When is this going to stop changing? And they told me, you know what? The editor will actually stop making changes. There will be a cut lock moment. And these were nice people, and so I believed them. But they were wrong. They lied. The cut never stopped changing the whole time, all the way to the end. They were making changes. I couldn't believe this. I thought, this is nuts. You know, my reaction was, this has got to stop. We got to get a grip on all these changes. People need to make some decisions. But you know what? I was wrong. You don't want to slow this down. This isn't about creative indecision making. This is about the creative process itself. The team was getting really inspired by what they were seeing up on screen, and they wanted to explore new ideas to try to build the best possible experience they could in the time they had. You don't want this to go slower. You want to speed this up. This should go faster. Now, in the old days, to solve this problem, we'd get everyone together in a room once a day, the supervisor, the artist. It wasn't the most efficient process. People would have to spend hours in advance prepping for the meeting, getting all the work together, the latest version of the cut, or hours afterwards documenting what was said. Sometimes an artist was ready hours before that meeting, so they were waiting for the meeting to happen. But we got it done. But now, getting in the same room once a day doesn't work anymore for Monica or studios like Pixamundo. Why? They're not in the same building anymore. They're not even in the same time zone. They're not often awake at the same time. Monica was working on a really ambitious project a few years ago, and she had to stay late into the night in the office to wait to connect to a team that was just waking up. Meanwhile, she was missing story time in my house as our kids were going to bed. She was chained to her desk. So, what would Batman do if his lady was chained to her desk? He would set her free, right? Enter shotgun review. Anyone in the project can share their work with anyone. Simple, just drag and drop the work right into the browser. It's uploaded, it's available. If you're a supervisor, you can view the work and actually draw right on the movie. We know who the artist is, so just type a quick note, and we'll send your drawing and your note directly to the artist so they can keep going. Now, artists don't stop working when you've stepped away from your desk. So we built an iPhone app. The supervisor can log in and see what's changed, connect with the team. If there has been work that's been submitted, they can view it. They can even draw on the movie with their finger, which I love. They are connected while on the go. Now, the supervisor has a boss too, the client. This is part of the iteration process as well. You have to show your work to the client, but moving work between two systems wastes time. So we have an integrated presentation site, a couple clicks, and you can show your work to your client from anywhere in the world, even from their phone. Now, this has been a game changer for Monica and our clients. It's really helped keep teams together. But today, I'm really excited to show you Shotgun 7, which adds editorial integration into our review tools. Now, an editorial team can simply drag and drop their change files into Shotgun, and will immediately show you what's changed from the previous version. This, if done manually, could take a day. Now, in this case, a shot has been omitted, and 6 shots have been changed. That's a shot that was omitted that an artist is working on. We need to get this to the team right away. A couple clicks. The cut information has been published. Notifications go out to the team, and now anyone on the project can view the latest work from the artist in the context set by the latest cut. Now, if you're a supervisor, you need to do things that are still not possible in a web browser. You need to view high-resolution image sequences in real time with guaranteed color correctness. We have a cross-platform review app called RV, and it just won an Academy Award last year for being awesome. It's also been updated as well. Now, in this application, as a supervisor, I can see all the work I'm supposed to review. I can look at it in context of the cut. I can compare it to the previous version. I can zoom, I can pan. And I can connect directly to my artists without leaving the application. What used to take a whole team and a full day to do, now a supervisor can do all by themselves all day long. Shotgun connects artists, supervisors, and editors in new ways, no matter where they are in the world, increasing the speed and agility of the creative process. Production management, artist app integrations, and review, all connected together to connect your teams together so they can go faster. Shotgun has helped Pixelmondo succeed in a tough modern production environment. But let's take a step back. Hollywood studios like Warner Brothers work at a completely different size and scale. On one of their large visual effects films, they'll bring together 10 or more companies to work at the same time, on the same shot sometimes. Tens to hundreds of millions of dollars are at stake, and they do this multiple times a year. Any inefficiencies in this process can really hurt. It impacts everybody working on the project. But we're on it.
We're the bad guys.
We've been collaborating with Warner Brothers for a few years now, and Suicide Squad was the latest project to run through Shotgun. This project was enormous. Thousands of people, 15 different companies, 2,500 shots. Shotgun helped keep the team organized and connected. Now, Shotgun is a platform that can be extended and customized to solve new production problems. As an example, with Warner Brothers, these companies were sending their intellectual property all around the world, high-resolution images and movies, but they were doing it in different ways, and the transfer information wasn't tracked. So we collaborated with Warner Brothers to build a couple apps to solve this problem. We have a review app that a studio can drag and drop their work into. They just assign where it's going, if it's Warner Brothers or to another company. A couple clicks, off it goes, secure and fast. This transfer is tracked. On the receiving end, there's another app that receives the files, unpacks them, puts them into the right place, registers them with Shotgun so the team can view and discuss. Now, this is just one of many thousands of applications and customizations that our clients have done on top of Shotgun to tackle production problems. We are working to connect the entire industry together, from all the way up at the Warner Brothers level, down to an individual artist at their desk. Shotgun 7 adds editorial integration to our review tools, and that's available now. The studio pipeline with secure apps, transfer apps, is now in private beta. We chose the name Shotgun because we bring an explosive, complex, and creative process together and give it speed and direction. You know, I was obsessed with with Stranger Things because it made me nostalgic for the past. But here at Autodesk University this week, I get really inspired about the future and all the cool stuff we're going to be able to build together. Batman would love this show, if he's not here already. Dark Knight, Mr. Knight, anywhere? You know, the more I learn about the other industries represented here, the more I understand that many of you also tell stories as part of your process. And if you're telling stories, you may run into some of the same problems that Monica and Pixamondo have. So if you're working on a TV, film, or game project, or if you're just wanting to equip your team with the tools to tell an impactful story, and then get home to tell one to their kids, then we at Shotgun are working for you. Thank you. Now, please welcome Sarah Hodges. She's going to take us back to the physical world and show us how the team at BIM 360 is connecting teams together in construction.
All right, good morning. Thank you, Don. That was amazing. But I now have the pleasure of taking you on a journey through stadiums, roads, bridges, skyscrapers. We get to talk about one of my favorite topics, construction. But before we do that, Don got me thinking about something. I also am a huge fan of Batman, but for me, I like it when the heroine saves the day. And truth be told, one of my favorite television shows is Game of Thrones. So when I'm at home and I'm sitting in my living room, I can be completely immersed in the experience. So much so, I actually believe I'm the mother of dragons. It's true. But what I never really think about until I was preparing for today is the pure complexity that goes into making me feel as if that dragon is not only mine, but it's real. The people, the technology, and the data that go into creating that experience. And then it struck me. That same kind of behind-the-scenes complexity, data, information, technology, go into creating an experience for a fan sitting at a Vikings game. A complicated sequence of both design and construction is what makes that possible. Or take this innovative housing complex. A vision, a design intent this complex can only be realized through fantastic precision and, in this case, prefabricated construction process. Construction is so much more than the execution of a beautiful design. It's a complicated, labor-intensive, highly coordinated process to bring a road, a bridge, or a building to life. And once it's complete, real people drive on these roads. Real people live in these buildings, not the heroines of our imagination. But what amazes me is that despite all of this complexity, construction today is still a very analog-driven process. I've had the pleasure this past year of traveling all over the world and visiting many construction sites. In fact, many of you are here today. I've had conversations directly with you, and you allow me the chance to get my own boots dirty. I thank you for that. I heard firsthand the day-to-day challenges that you face. But I have to tell you, it's what I saw that really stays with me the most. A deluge of data. Any construction trailer on any construction site anywhere in the world, I promise you, looks similar to this. Information, data, it's everywhere. And what I want you to notice is not very much of it is digital. I was at this one site earlier on this year, and I was approached by a superintendent. He asked me if he could borrow one of the giant Jenga blocks that we had brought along as part of a game to engage his crew with that day. Why did he need a giant Jenga block, you're asking yourself? Truth be told, he had a stack of papers like this, construction documents. He wanted the brick to hold them down while he ate his lunch. This is true. These documents literally detailed for him the work he had to do that afternoon on the project site we were on that morning. This just amazed me. Being as though I work here at Autodesk, I'm absolutely surrounded by the most innovative technology, some of which you've seen today, every single moment. So how can this be? What if there is a change? How would he know there was a change? Or if he made a change, how would he have communicated that among the literally hundreds of his teammates that were on the site that day? The construction industry, it reminds me of that game of Jenga we were playing on the site that day. Whoop, there's a little hole there. So this is where I need your help. You all received a pendant when you came into the room this morning. I want you to make sure you're wearing it, because you're going to use it now to help me illustrate the complexity. I want you to imagine each light of beam represents an input into the construction project. Here we go. We get requirements from the owners. We get conceptual models, documents from our architects and engineers. Our general contractors then take those and they create even more models, even more documents. The same for our trade contractors. Look around you. Literally thousands upon thousands of inputs go into a construction project. And each single one, or each single beam of light, is critical to the overall quality of that project. If we take just one thing away, the whole thing can fall apart. And this deluge of data that you're seeing right now, it keeps on coming. On any given project, change orders are inevitable, thanks to our owners. And they drive budget and schedule upwards of 10 to 15%. Requests for information. On an average size project, there's 800 or more. The opportunity to transform the way the construction industry works is absolutely enormous. Look at the lights around you. We can solve this with a common data environment. The common data environment for construction, it's BIM 360 docs. And when we're all connected in that common data environment, like you can see from the lights around you, you're one team. You're connected to the project, and you're able to do things that are simply just not possible today. Thank you for bearing with me as we illustrated that. So with BIM 360 docs, we put your project at the center. And we then connect your teams to that project, giving them access to the models, the documents, the drawings, the photos, any information they need, whenever they need it, wherever they might be. We launched BIM 360 docs at AU last year. Our teams have been busy. We have launched over 58 new features. We're making it easier and easier for you and your teams to have single-click access, that is, to models, documents, specs, reports, the information that your team needs. We've launched powerful publishing tools, automated hyperlinking, and search. We're making it easier for you and your teams in the field to have access to the information they need, to receive, to review, to comment on, even to resolve design issues. And we don't mind if they work in 2D, 3D, online, or offline. We're connecting your team to the project information that they need, and we are capturing every single change in project documents. We're helping your teams to have context around the work that they do and showing them the changes as they occur. We are getting closer and closer to the single source of project truth. And when we are there, delays, discrepancies, disputes, they are replaced with clear action, accountability, and attribution. As BIM 360 docs continues to evolve as our common data environment, the other products in our BIM 360 portfolio, Glue, Field, Plan, Layout, Building Ops, they continue to support the full construction lifecycle, from pre-construction to planning to execution, through to operations and even maintenance. In fact, BIM 360 today is used by over 100 of the world's largest general contractors all over the world on their most critical projects. Like all of our products here at Autodesk, BIM 360 is no exception. We make developments and improvements by listening, to you, our customers. But I don't want you just to take my word for it. I'm going to invite Dustin Hartzyker to the stage of Swinnerton Builders. He's going to talk to you about how they're using BIM 360 on their projects, but also across their business. So please join me in welcoming Dustin to the stage.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Sarah. I really appreciate this opportunity. And to help put this conversation in context, I'd like to start by introducing Swinnerton and sharing a little of my history. Swinnerton is a large commercial contractor. We're 2,300 employees strong, about 1,300 are salary, and the rest are craft. We're running about $3 billion in volume this year, and are 100% employee-owned. I've been with Swinnerton 24 years, and I started as a carpenter, transitioned to superintendent, then VD&C manager, before working my way into my current position of solutions manager. I know solutions manager sounds vague, but I'm part of a team that's responsible for analyzing and incorporating new technology and new processes into our company. So as a carpenter, I quickly realized the value of having the correct information on hand. If we had it, we were efficient, but if it was missing, we had to bounce from point to point or stand around and wait for the information. And it always bothered me to stand around. So this is when I noticed the importance of organized data, and it's still a passion point for me today. Now, when I'm working with the team in Southern California, we make sure they're using the same organized data structure, the same workflow, and the same processes as our other regions. That way we start on the same common denominator and the conversation flows. So I'd like to show a couple of pictures to demonstrate the difference between unorganized and organized data. So this is a pretty good example of unorganized data. If you're looking for someone out here, you just have to churn through it and hope you get lucky. And this approach is a waste of time and money and is very inefficient. Unfortunately, this is the natural state of data, and it takes a powerful system to gather it all up and to organize it and to store it in one location, which is why I was excited about the promise of 360 Docs when they announced it earlier this year. And this is a good example of organized data. You see, it just plays well together. It's efficient, it's collaborative, you can pick out any item you're looking for, and you can discover some pretty impressive trends. And in the case of 360 Docs, it's mobile, which is important because our teams are carrying tools and building buildings. And for them, the data is like a trusted partner, always handy, but never in the way. Autodesk 360 Docs promises to be that mobile single source of truth on our projects. But the picture on the left is an example of what we experienced when we started testing it back in February. It felt like it was still under construction. As with any project, you give it a month and you drive by again and you analyze it. Are they moving in the right direction? Are they making progress? And if it's a healthy project, the changes are significant and impressive. So that's the approach we took with 360 Docs. We came back in a month or two, and the changes were significant. So we began providing feedback, offering suggestions, which you can do in the community pages and forums, and the capabilities of the product continued to grow. Late this summer, they released the critical components we were hoping for. So if you haven't looked at it since September, I would encourage you to give it another shot, to go. Get involved and provide the feedback to help sharpen this tool. The reason you should get involved is because our industry needs it. We need the organization. We need consistent data across our businesses so we can track metrics on an industry level. The more companies involved, the smarter we become. Consistent, dynamic, structured data is our key to being better builders and increasing productivity in our industry. As an example, we have about 4,600 members in our BIM 360 database right now, and that equals hundreds of thousands of tracked issues, checklists, conversations, and photos. And at any point, we can go straight into the database and find them. That eliminates risk because we know why the decisions were made, we know who made them, and we know what the conditions looked like at the time. And because we have this organized data, we can track performance metrics for our teams and business partners. By looking at the data, we know who's safe and why, and we know who's not and why. We can find our high performers and deepen and build upon those relationships. We can increase productivity, increase quality, grow our business, and help save lives within the construction industry. I believe we're just scratching the surface, and as we continue to expand our use of managed data, the possibilities to advance our industry are extraordinary. So Sarah's going to come out and tell us a little bit more how Autodesk tools can help us grow. But remember, in the words of Peter Drucker, what gets measured gets managed. And it's time to take a hard look at your data and make sure it's working for you. Thank you.
Thank you to Dustin. So I hope what you heard there are a couple of things. Firstly, Dustin outlined some of the challenges that are real and specific to Swineton builders. But what I want you to understand is that I've traveled the world, and I hear from many of you, the challenges that Swineton builders face are the same challenges any general contractor of any size, anywhere in the world faces. What you also heard is that Swineton builders are now placing their project at the center. They're establishing BIM 360 Docs as their common data environment. But we know Swineton's needs, your needs, they're only going to continue to evolve. We also know that having access to information on your mobile device in construction, it's a necessity. And we know that Android is the second most popular platform among construction users. That's why I am delighted to announce today that on December 12th, BIM 360 Docs will be available on Android. Thank you. But we're not stopping there. We also know that requests for information, RFIs, they're essential for you. You need to receive and resolve issues quickly, get your project back on track, on schedule, and within your committed budget. I am delighted to tell you on December 19th, RFIs will be added to BIM 360 Docs as our latest feature. There's more. There's more. We've heard you. We know that having construction administration tools, it's a necessity for you. I'm delighted to tell you that coming soon, we'll be making submittals available as part of BIM 360 Docs. From initial request, to response, to review, to approval, we're creating a standardized process, and we're capturing that in the project system of record. You're going to hear more from us in the coming weeks about when submittals will be available. Now, we know that no bridge, no road, no building, it can never be constructed without a vision and design intent. We also know that collaboration among architects and engineers, it's frankly just as complex as it is among contractors out on the field. We've been addressing this challenge for some time. We address it with a solution called Collaboration for Revit. Today, there's BIM teams all around the world collaborating using this tool. But our vision is to bring these two technologies together into a common data environment. This common data environment is then going to span the entire project, from conceptual design to detailed design, pre-construction, even through to commissioning and beyond. And in this environment, we're going to manage a lot more than just Revit information as part of the BIM process. More to come on this in coming weeks. So what I hope you have seen so far from myself and also from Dustin is that BIM 360 Docs has come a long way in managing the enormous amounts of data that you need to use in construction. But what is next? All right, a little bit about me. There's two things I rely on every single day, and those of you in the audience who know me personally will know this is true. Coffee and Siri. Coffee for me, it's a necessity, and Siri, she does her best. She tries to get me to my meetings on time. She does get me to the airport in the right time for me to board my next flight. And when I'm working from the office, she tells me what time I need to leave for daycare. So this got us thinking, what if there was a virtual assistant like Siri for construction? Imagine her name was Ava. Imagine at the start of my workday, I could ask Ava to identify for me the biggest potential risks I have in the 20 or so projects in my pipeline. I could ask her to take a look and give me some insights. Imagine I ask her, she goes off, she analyzes my data, and she comes back, and she tells me where the biggest risks are. I can then actually prioritize the work for my team, having them address the projects that have the greatest amount of risk. We might not have voice recognition software for construction yet, but we have something that is pretty close. And it's going to transform the insights that are used not only by executives in the office, but by everybody out in the field, foremen, superintendents, trade contractors. I'd like to introduce you to Project IQ. Project IQ uses a series of machine learning and algorithms to analyze potential risks across real project data. The amount of data collected in construction today is frankly overwhelming and enormous. But if we can mine for gold in that data and use it to draw insights, we can make informed decisions not only about our current project, but ones in the future. Imagine, for example, you could determine you had a water penetration issue on one of your projects before you even reached it. What if you could then redirect your team to avoid that issue entirely? The benefits for you and your firm, well, they're huge. But the benefits for your client, it's absolutely invaluable. We've been working with people like Swinnerton and other customers here in the audience today to look at patterns in the real project data of active projects that you have in practice already. I'm delighted to announce that today we're inviting anybody who's interested in participating in a Project IQ pilot with us to reach out. To learn more, just email us at projectiq@autodesk.com. Now, I hope what you've seen is that BIM 360 has come a long way in connecting the office to the field. In fact, it is the fastest growing product we have here at Autodesk. I've made some really important announcements today, including the open invitation for anyone to participate in a Project IQ pilot with us. I told you that coming soon in December, we're launching BIM 360 Docs on Android, as well as the availability of RFIs, requests for information. Coming soon, you're going to hear more about the availability of submittals, a critical part of your construction administration toolset. And you're also going to continue to hear more from us about the integration of collaboration for Revit into the common data environment. But our vision, it is so much bigger than what I've shared with you today. Our vision for BIM 360 means realizing a common data environment, means that you should experience what today are single-point applications as one holistic experience. Specific tasks like scheduling, quality, commissioning, construction administration, they should become workspaces that individuals can access and use. This is just from a UI perspective. From a data perspective, it's having all of your information in one place and having all of it correlated. Your issues, your inspections, your models, your documents, everything in one place. I could click on a model in 3D, and then what you're seeing here is view any associated RFIs, submittals, any information that's associated with that model. Or I could go the other way, start with a change order, and work my way back through the submittal process back to the original model. Visual cues appear on my floor plan, so the team knows where to follow up. Insights can be drawn around quality, scheduling, and even commissioning. This is one BIM 360 experience. Integrated information, correlated, and accessible. This is the promise of a common data environment. And we are bringing it to you with BIM 360. Now I know you're saying to yourself, but your promise was to do more than to solve the challenges of collaboration and data management across AEC. It was to reimagine the entire process. You wanted us to look at reimagining it from conceptual design to detailed design to fabrication to construction and beyond. So as you sit there, I know you're asking yourselves, but what are they doing on the design side? Is Revit moving to the cloud? Are we building the fusion for AEC? Well, to answer these questions and more, I would like to invite Amar back to the stage.
Thank you, Sarah. That was pretty cool. What do you guys think so far of the show? So you're seeing our vision play itself out in the world of manufacturing, the world of media and entertainment. And like I said earlier, our vision for the AEC industry is to create a single experience that spans design, make, and use. And Sarah showed you how docs is the common data environment and how applications such as glue, field, plan, building ops are all evolving to plug into that environment to provide the make and use parts of this experience. She also touched upon how collaboration for Revit, as it joins the docs experience, bridges the world of architecture and engineering into this common data environment. But there's more that we are doing in the world of design, because we're not short in ambition. So today I'd like to give you a sneak peek at something we're working on called Project Quantum. Quantum integrates design, engineering, fabrication, and other applications into the common data environment and enables multi-discipline collaboration. See, with Quantum, we are evolving the way BIM works in the era of the cloud. Because BIM provides a really wonderful approach to digitally anticipate many of the challenges of the physical building process. But it's still hard for teams to coordinate changes across their project. So Quantum introduces the idea of connected BIM and changes this. So the way to think about Quantum is that it's not a single, monolithic, giant app, but really a family of web and mobile experiences or workspaces that are woven together into the common data environment and that keep in sync through a common communication bus. This is a fundamental shift we are making, that instead of binding data and application logic into one giant experience, we're separating them. So now, data and application logic can live anywhere, independent of each other, but yet they can stay in sync and everyone can always be up to date. Now, this is really, really early thinking. And there were many people at Autodesk that tried to dissuade me from sharing this with you, but I can't resist the temptation. And the best way for me to show you what we're working on is to do it in the context of a fictitious project. So imagine, if you will, we're working on a museum, and that the owner of the museum just came back from an international trip, is all wound up and wants these changes made for aesthetic reasons or for cost reasons. Wants the curtain wall design to change. Now, you know normally what would happen is he'd sit down with the architect, and the architect and the owner or the client would go back and forth, and the architect would have to think through and make some changes and do some trade-offs and trying to get to a place where the architect can then involve the structural engineer. And then the structural engineer and the architect would do a dance and try and figure out how to get on the same page and send data all the time. And then they'd bring the fabricator on, and the dance would go on and on and on. And one change here is missed over there. That game of Jenga that Sarah talked about, it's not just on the construction side. It's the entire project struggles that way. So in Quantum, we're doing something different. We're giving each person their own independent, dedicated application or workspace for their work, for design, for engineering, for analysis, for fabrication, for construction management, that lets them do the thing that they're responsible for on the project, but everything stays in sync. So the architect, let's say she's working on the museum, suggestions from the client, he opens up her conceptual design environment and starts to explore those multiple variations. So let's say in this case, she's using a computational design approach, starting to assess options for buildability, aesthetics, cost, and is kind of like really iterating her way to the answer. But as she's working on her ideas to this new inspirational idea from the owner, because Quantum is built on a common platform, the rest of the project team is already up to date. They are seeing the changes that are being made in parallel. So the structural engineer in parallel can start to work off the latest set of revisions and start to do the things that structural engineers do. Validate structural integrity, look for better ways to support the structure, study connection options that may be needed in order to support the architect's newly proposed design. Look, this is happening in parallel. This is not two sessions that are running of the same application. These are two different applications working off the same data at the same time if necessary, although they don't have to work at the same time, with always up-to-date information. So the structural engineers' changes, the architects' changes are all being updated, and they're ready for the fabricator now, who regardless of the fact whether he or she is across the street or across the pond, can evaluate right now in parallel what these changes that are being suggested mean for the production of the panels. The fabricator has his or her own workspace, and they can use that workspace to quickly evaluate assembly implications, fabrication implications, look at cost, materials, and select the best possible approach. This is multidisciplinary collaboration happening in parallel. I want to contrast this with what happens, because you guys might be thinking, yeah, this is the kind of way things work today, right? I'm in a Revit session, I can send a file, they'll respond. This is different. This is teams having independent workspaces, not having to worry about files, but really working in a common data environment with different applications. This, we believe, is a game changer because quantum will close the gap between all of those various roles in the design process, which are long-standing barriers in the AEC industry. So everyone in the project will be able to share data fluidly, and all of the piece parts of the process are now connected. And quantum will be a part of the BIM 360 experience. This is the design aspect. So just as Fusion is becoming the one place to design, to simulate, to analyze, to collaborate, Project Quantum as part of BIM 360 really completes our vision for BIM 360 to be that integrated platform that spans design, make, and use for the AEC industry. So we're doing way more than trying to put Revit in a browser. That's easy. We have a lot more that we're trying to do is fundamentally redefine how BIM works in the era of the cloud. So if this sounds interesting, but just a little fuzzy or vague, I'm going to invite you to come to a special session that we're hosting on this project here at Autodesk University. Or better yet, sign up and help us realize this vision, because we've been doing this by listening to many of you. So I hope through listening to Stephen, Dawn, and Sarah, you've seen that we're making tremendous progress with our cloud-native products. And a key reason for why all of this stuff is moving so quickly is that we're building all of this on a common platform. We call this platform Forge, a platform that powers the future of making things. Forge, at its core, is a bunch of web microservices and infrastructure that provides scalable, accessible, and extensible foundations to power modern design and engineering applications. And we are making it available to you. So the very same data management, visualization, simulation, modeling, reality capture engines that we are using to power Fusion, to power BIM 360, to power Shotgun, these services are available to you. Why are we doing this? It's because we recognize that every company is a digital company going forward, and that we are not going to write all of the applications that you need to become a digital company. And this is why we're giving you access to our IP, to our data. And what's so wonderful to see is that many companies, thousands of companies, are already building applications on Forge. Companies like MakeTime, which connect design and engineers to virtual machine shops. Think of them as Air CNC. Or 3D Robotics, who uses Forge to develop aerial data capture and analysis applications. Or BMW, who created a personalizer for their Mini Cooper. And there's many, many of you in the audience here, Atkins, a company whose name is synonymous with fruit, starts with an A and ends with an LE. All of you are using Forge already. But one of the most successful applications I have seen is the one done by J.E. Dunn Construction. Now, J.E. Dunn is at the forefront of the digital redefinition of the construction industry. And last year, they built a custom model-based estimation app on the Forge platform called Lens. And I think this story is best told in their own words. So please join me in welcoming to the stage John Jacobs, CIO of J.E. Dunn. John? Welcome, Dan.
Wow. Thanks so much, Amar. And thanks to Autodesk for highlighting construction technology. The advancements are crazy, and we're just proud to be a part of it. Now, J. Dunn, we're builders. Though we aren't designers, we do make your incredible designs possible by turning virtual reality into physical reality. When inspired people at the job site and the office leverage technology that Amar and his team just announced, the results can be transformational. But if you can harness the power of visualization, you can revolutionize how those project teams work together and put work in place, and that defines the future of construction. But let's start with Lens. It's what you're going to see on the screen. Lens enables detailed estimates to start from just an idea or a napkin sketch. And then they come to life visually, because at any stage, the estimate is tied to the model, even at the earliest conceptual stage. Cost data and model objects are completely connected and are viewable by anyone, anywhere, anytime, on any device. Add the ability to have those estimates adjust instantly with every model iteration, and you save valuable time and achieve real cost savings. Now, I love what's happening at Iowa State University. Their Student Innovation Center highlights exactly how powerful Lens is. They're investing $84 million into a new hub on campus that'll be home to maker spaces, hacking spaces, co-working spaces, just like Autodesk Pier 9, only this time in a campus setting. Just last month, the team of J. Dunn and Philadelphia-based designer Kieran Timberlake were able to design and price 5 full designs in just 5 days. That's 10 weeks of work in 5 days, or a 93% reduction in duration. But while solving the pre-construction problem with Lens, we uncovered 2 downstream problems. 1, how do you transition the design model into a buildable model? And then 2, how do you make the buildable model usable at the job site? To make the design model buildable, we need to replace simple model objects with complex, detailed fabrication-ready objects, and then figure out how to make them fit where the designer intends. When they don't fit, we need to do something called clash resolution to make them fit. Until now, clash resolution was accomplished by BIM technicians using desktop software, typically without project management involvement. But what you're seeing on the screen is our project managers working in conjunction with our BIM technicians to manage clashes virtually. Now, we're using this on a product, or on a high-rise tower called 2Light. 2Light's being developed by Baltimore developer, the Cordish Companies. Now, a design change occurred on that project that affected the overhead ductwork in not only one area, but a multitude of others. The ripple effect was not inherently obvious, so the project manager focused initially, understandably, on a single design issue. But now, thanks to the data analytics that we receive, he was able to interpret the huge spike in clashes as a high-risk issue, and then work proactively with the mechanical trade partner to solve the issue and avoid huge delays that would not have become evident for several more weeks. Don't look now, but that's a contractor using big data to solve problems. Our industry hasn't been very good at that. Now, allow me to nerd out just for a second. Forge has enabled something never before possible. All of the 51,000 external users that use our dashboard can now see the seamless integration of ERP data, LMV visualization, and BIM 360 clash data all through the single Forge viewer. That's Autodesk effectively supercharging our custom development. Okay, second problem. How do you make the buildable model usable by the real builders, the men and women who put work in place every day? What you're watching on the screen is us putting the internet in their tool belts, giving them easy access to all the information that they need. Their iPhones, iPads, and tablets can now show 2D and 3D together on the same screen. Check it out. When you drop a pin in a room in 2D, it drops you into that spot in the model. As you walk through the model, your position in 2D follows you. Okay, you've heard a picture is worth 1,000 words? So what if? What if we could drop your entire project team into that picture virtually, collaboratively, to work together without the need for expensive VR device? In our case, a simple email kicks off a fully immersive, collaborative VR problem-solving meeting. That kind of collaboration is better than having 1,000 words. It can make your teams 1,000 times more effective. Now, thanks to the inspired teammates that I have at JDUN and at Autodesk Consulting, we're creating a steady stream of innovative solutions that are making the future of construction a reality today. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, John. And I hope you were able to see how JDUN's work and application shows the power of the Forge platform and how companies like yourself can leverage it to create competitive advantage for yourself. We're almost at the end of the show. We talked about a lot of stuff, so it's time to give you a quick summary. First, we are accelerating the rate at which we are improving our flagship products like Revit, Civil 3D, Inventor, Navisworks, Maya, Max, AutoCAD, and every other product. We're making them more cloud connected. We're listening to your needs. All of these products have seen lots of enhancements just this year. We are increasing the stability and value of your subscription by paying attention to installation, to deployment, user management. At the same time, we're moving forward aggressively to build these connected, capable, on-demand solutions for manufacturing, for media and entertainment, and for AEC. You saw when Steve Hooper talked how Fusion is leveling the playing field in manufacturing, delivering unprecedented capabilities, game-changing capabilities like branch and merge, web-based editing, additive manufacturing, 5-axis simulation, nonlinear simulation, 5-axis milling, sorry. 5-axis simulation would be interesting. Shotgun. Dawn talked about how Shotgun is bringing agile, scalable production pipelines to creative teams. We talked about movie studios, but architects, industrial designers, you all are creative teams. You do storytelling. And Dawn revealed how brand new capabilities in Shotgun 7 really move the bar up for what's possible. And then Sarah shared with you how BIM 360 is helping contractors, trades, and supervisors just build better. She shared some enhancements, some news about RFI, submittals, Android, and the idea that all of these experiences are coming together into a common data environment. And then I previewed with you how Project Quantum brings BIM into that common data environment. I talked to you about our web platform and architecture called Forge, which is available to you to write today to build your own applications, such as the one you saw from JDUN. You know, at the end of the day, we here at Autodesk exist to do one thing and one thing alone. That is to build software so you can make amazing things. It's the things you make, from skyscrapers to supercars to supervillains and everything in between, that inspires our team to keep pushing the boundaries and to make our products even more indispensable to you. We at Autodesk want to empower everyone, regardless of race, gender, religion, nationality, anywhere in the world, to realize the future of making things. The way you use Amazon to buy anything, Google to find anything, Autodesk wants to give you the power to make anything. Thank you, and have a great Autodesk University.
And ladies and gentlemen, we encourage you to please bring your pendants to the party this evening. Thank you and enjoy the day.
Mike the gun of the whip, I snap attack, front to back, in this thing called rap. Singing like a shovel rhyme double on a heavenly level. Bang the bass, turn up night all the